Should the world and Arab nations call out in giving tanks, navy, and fighter jets to the PA like all other nations have them for defenses?
It's a heavy one, this topic, and what I'm going to say in response, because the two-state solution in the shorthand, the 67 borders, is already a Palestinian concession, as the Palestinian ambassadors to the UK have said. And the Palestinians have sort of done everything that's been asked of them. They've offered their Mandelas, and Israel has either imprisoned them or killed them. They've tried the non-violent resistance, and Israel's just massacred and maimed. They've set up this kind of state and this authority, but that has just been defunded or their money stolen, and they'll never be recognized. When we talk about the West Bank, I think it brings us back to this sense of what will the two states look like. Earlier, we talked about 100 flavors of the two-state solution, but I never really drew out any examples of what they could be. And this is the thing I think is worth saying, explaining to people. You could have a Palestinian second state that would be allowed to have an army, but it wouldn't be allowed to have nuclear power. It wouldn't be allowed to have meaningful economies. It would always be under the boot of Israel, effectively. Israel would be allowed still some access. There would be defense agreements, memorandum of understanding, where Israel could do whatever it wanted. It wouldn't be meaningfully sovereign. And the thing about the Palestinians and the Israeli Jews, as people characterize it, is that they are two great people. And if only they could meaningfully live in peace, you'd have two great people in a great region doing great things. And Palestinians are not going to accept to have their greatness limited under an Israeli boot, even if it's a small, nice leather boot, a nice two-state solution, but you can't have this, you can't have that, you're not meaningfully sovereign, you're not meaningfully independent. That is not going to be accepted, I don't think. And therefore, this Trump plan, where it talks about Arab armies, it's basically racist, isn't it? Because it's like, well, in this part of the world, unless you're Jewish, you don't get a democracy. You get a non-democratic off-the-shelf option with Blair ruling over you. All of these partners that Trump has managed to get to sort of agree to this plan, the UAE or whatever, they're not democracies. They're not democracies. Palestinians will not accept that. It has to be remembered because in Palestinian culture, they just won't accept that. They do want democracy. So they're not going to accept to be ruled over. Not in the long term, they're never going to accept to be ruled over by technocrats. That just isn't going to be acceptable. And so if we're talking about these different flavors of two-state solutions, they're not going to accept less than what Israel has really meaningfully, I don't think. Even if Israel possesses, for example, best in the world foreign intelligence services, in terms of the kind of the basic mechanics of a state, the basic mechanics of sovereignty, even if Israel has a better chip industry, better foreign intelligence, it has nuclear weapons that the Palestinians don't have, they're never going to accept the in-principle differences. And I think that is where these flavors of a fake two-state solution lie.